Genuinely, like, why do I only play poker in Coventry? What's more bleak than a Friday night in Coventry in the pissing rain where you've had to bring packed lunch to a casino? Like, it's not a good look. But anyway, got 25 series starting in 20 minutes. So hopefully we can make day two. Only issue of making day two means I'm going to be here till 3:30, something like that, late. So it's going to torch my weekend, but we'll see. Yeah, let's go and get regged.
Right, wasn't I in a, a super cheery mood there on a blissful Friday night in Coventry? Hopefully that is not a sign of things to come. So let's run through a few hands from the first couple of levels. So pick up pocket nines in the big blind, 400 big blind. Middle position opens to 1k. I decide to call here. Probably free bet or call's fine. As always, I decide to take the sort of chicken route and just make the call and make my life simpler in the short term. 7 high flop with 2 diamonds, so pretty nice flop for nines, pretty nice flop for the big blinds range in general. Which you'd think would mean we'd have some leads, but no, because that is a complex way to look at poker, and I like things simple. So I decide to check it across, and unsurprisingly, on a board texture like this, the middle position player checks it back. And then we get super lucky. We hit gin on the turn. We get the offsuit 9. So I think it's pretty clear we're in front here, which is always nice. So we now decide to bet 2.5k, get pretty greedy and bet almost 100% pot. The player in middle position decides to call, leaving 12k behind. And then we get a offsuit 3 on the river, which obviously completes the sort of forerunner guttable with a 5, but they shouldn't have too many 5s in range. Certainly not played like this anyway. So we get super greedy, bet 130% pot, so 10k. And I think middle position gets out of the way pretty quickly, so not much to say there. We turn a set, try and bet some money. Good hand. Okay, then moving on to the next one. We pick up pocket 10s at 600 big blind. We're on the button this time, so pretty tasty position. Middle position opens up to 1.3k. I sort of put on my big boy pants and decide to free bet this one. Good decision, so we make it 3k, and middle position comes along for the fun. Flop is Queen 5-4 Rainbow. I don't. It's a nice board for the free better, but I don't necessarily think this is a range bet. So if we're not range betting here, I think tens falls firmly into the check category, but I could be swayed either way. Please tell me if you disagree. So I check, middle position checks back. We get the 6 of clubs on the turn, bringing a club flush draw. Middle position checks it across to me. I now decide this is the time to start betting. So we bet a third pot, so 2.5k, and get the call. Then we see probably the worst river for us. So we see an offsuit ace on the river. It's checked to us. I feel like we're obviously going to get floated. If we're getting floated by anything, it's going to be ace X, certainly ace X of clubs. Don't see how they've played a queen this way necessarily, and what queens do they have, like king queen, ace queen. So we're in real trouble here. So we decide to check it back, and despite what I've just said, we lose to queen jack off. So sort of makes the hand a bit more interesting. Surprised that you sort of see a free bet a call of a free bet with queen jack off seems pretty poor. Then also when you flop a queen to check it twice, wouldn't expect leads on the flop, but I think checking turn seems pretty bizarre because I don't really understand what better flops you're going to get for queen jack off. I think you should probably be betting turn there, unless you're just assuming that free better has aces or kings, which seems very bizarre, especially when you call pre. But I suppose the other thing is that if we're going to see players playing hands like queen jack here, and we're going to be betting turns, because obviously we bet turn for protection to try and get your sort of like overcards to fold, and then obviously when that falls on the river, we have to sort of check it back. But I think when the ace falls on the river in these spots, if people are peeling with like queen jack off, jack 10 type hands, we can maybe just pile river and get them to fold this. I don't know. I'll need to sort of keep an eye out and see if this is a one-off or lots of players are doing this. I tend to feel like lots of players call free bets with poor hand selection. But anyway, we win one, we lose one. Reluctantly, I have to hand it back over to Super Cheery Gus in rainy Coventry and let him give you the breakdown of how the day ends.
Oh, well, short one this week. So, what are we? 10 o'clock. So just at the end of level 6 or something. Spun up to like 30k. It was going quite nicely. Then played a couple of hands fairly poorly. Taught like dusted off some chips. Was down to 20 bigs. Well, just shy of 20 bigs. Had like 10.5 at 600 big blind. Picked up kings on the button. Hijack jammed for like 12k, so I call it off. Big blind calls as well, so we're in a pretty tasty spot, especially when the big blind rolls jacks and the hijack rolls eights. And as you can see, I'm sitting in the car, so there was a jack in the window, and then just to punish me that little bit extra and really fucking kill it, the 8 came on the turn, bringing the third spade, or fourth spade, sorry. Look over at my hand, black king, but it's not the king of spades, so that's no fucking good. And we did not get lucky on the river, so one of those. I did bring 2 buy-ins, but I don't feel like I played very well for the last hour. I feel very tired. Don't overly want to be getting home at 4 a.m. I'd quite like to go for a bike ride in the morning. Still training for the big ride. So calling it a night. I'm gonna try and be sensible. Save the 250 quid for another day. Yeah, we'll be back, but today wasn't the day. So, c'est la vie.